Welcome, everybody, to the PHDJ Podcast. My name is Mike.
This is Joe Bunn.
What's going on, Joe? How are you today?
I'm good, man. Waking up, getting going.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of coffee.
Yeah, me too. Here we go. Cheers, for those on video. Cheers.
Right.
Oh, that's the one from Game of Thrones, isn't it?
What? No. Oh. No.
Did you hear about that controversy?
What?
Oh, you didn't see that? You don't follow the news that much.
I don't.
I don't watch.
I do watch the show.
I do watch the show. But apparently there was a scene in this past week's episode where there was a cup of coffee. Originally they said it was a Starbucks, but now they're just saying it was a cup of coffee like that had somehow been left on a table.
No.
And it made so now HBO has digitally removed it for any future showings. But the showing Sunday night, there was, which is pretty funny when you think about it. I mean, you're trying to set this like fantasy things in the past, and someone's cup of coffee is.
I did not see that.
It's pretty funny.
I gotta go back. I did. Yeah. I do think I saw a meme or something about it, and I didn't get.
Well, if you taped the show, I guess I imagine if you taped the show Sunday night, but any future showings, I think HBO will.
No, I got the DVR version.
Check it out, and I'm always fascinated with something like that. Who caught that? God. Like who's watching the show that closely?
Yeah.
That they would go, wait, was that a cup of coffee? It's crazy. I don't know.
I mean, for something like that though, that's like a period piece, it would be kind of glaring. If you're a super fan.
Yeah, I mean, especially when a show is that on that level, they must have a staff of people who are in charge of making sure that doesn't happen.
Somebody lost their job. Put it that way.
Well, the show's over already, so they all lost their job.
That's a valid point.
I think I've told you. I don't know if I don't know if there's any interest at all for the listeners in this, but Kelly has a very good friend who worked on that show.
Oh, wow.
She was the food preparer for anything that was on set. So any banquet or anything like that. And we met with her. She lives in Ireland, and she flew over to England to hang with us when we were there a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's cool.
And she had this very cool leather jacket she was wearing. And I even commented, and I said, Franny, that's a cool leather jacket. And she opened up the inside, and there was a Game of Thrones emblem. So it was they had given it at the end of the shooting. They had given that to all the crew. And I'm like, that just made a cool jacket like super, super cool now. Like it was already cool, but now it's like off the chain cool. I said, don't put that down because you'll never see it again.
You didn't get a pic?
Yeah, I'm sure there's pictures on Facebook. Yeah, because she was wearing it the whole time. So I'm sure there's pictures of Kelly and Franny. Franny is the one. God, we're going down a wormhole here. That Kelly was a pen pal with back in her high school or even grammar school, I think. And then they lost touch for about 30 years. And when Kelly and I were going to Ireland a number of years ago, they reconnected.
That's crazy.
And we met Franny over there. And I'll tell you, the two of them picked up their friendship like they had never
not seen
lost
each other.
a step. Franny flew over for our wedding. She's come over a couple of other times. Kelly has gone to Ireland for a few weekends. Yeah, it was really cool to kind of witness that. Anyway, I do have a main I know we promised everybody a topic to watch a documentary, but we're gonna skip that. We're gonna punt that one for a future episode.
I'll take a little of the blame on that one.
No, see, I wasn't gonna do that, Joe. I wasn't gonna sell you out.
I know you wouldn't, but we
were just gonna say because we do have something else though, more topical.
Yeah, family got in the way last night. Sorry.
And I know Joe doesn't love controversy, and we're going to try to avoid controversy, but I think it's an interesting topic that just came up. But before we do that, our boy, Brian Bonacisi is doing something this summer. Did you see that?
I did. Only because I
just saw a video last night.
I made the video, so I did know about it because when he was here.
Then that's not the video I saw. You made the video when he was here. I got it.
But I was only like half paying attention, and then so I watched it back.
So you helped him shoot the video, but you weren't paying attention.
Right.
You're so fun. Joe, you are so busy these days that like your mind is elsewhere all the time.
It was I was distracted, but
well, it looks like he's doing a one-day hustle and flow, which is that's the two people who spoke, the two wedding photographers, right? Who spoke at Collective.
Yep, the Hans.
Yeah.
So I think he's calling it Hustle and Flow, the DJ edition.
He's calling it DJ Hustle and Flow.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's going to be in New York, right? And do you have the date?
Brian is not only a graduate of the PHDJ workshop, but for loyal listeners, you'll recognize his name because he did appear on the podcast, and I looked it up. He was actually on episode 76 and 77. We had such a long conversation with Brian that we made 2 episodes out of it. So if you'd like to go back and listen to the Brian Bonacisi podcast, you can do that. That must have been probably about a year ago, right? Because we're at 121 and 76. So yeah.
Something like
that. So Brian promises, I took a screenshot, branding. He's promised to talk about branding, how to price yourself, how to find your ideal client, breakdown to Facebook ads, website review, and book destination weddings, which to me, that's probably worth the price of admission right there. Mm-hmm. If you are interested in destination weddings. Do you know anyone who's doing it at a higher level than Brian?
No, he is on the utmost high destination location DJ level.
I'd love to see his passport. I mean, he travels all the time. He's always checking in from different locales, and it's almost always for work.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's really cool. So, was there a site there or anything, Mike?
Seek Brian out as usual nowadays. Just seek him out on social media. On Instagram, it's DJ Brian B Official.
Yep.
Apparently, there were other people trying to be DJ Brian B, so he took DJ Brian B Official.
He's the official.
He just posted this video last night, so you can. It'll be recent on his feed, and he says, email me at djhustleandflow@djbrianbofficial.com. So check it out. Go watch the video. It's only a 1-minute video on Instagram. It'll give you an idea. And I'm going to check that date, Brian, because it's in New York City.
Yeah.
What is it? July 20. I forget, but I'm going to look it up. If I'm free, I'd like to come in. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't know Brian, again, he's been a big supporter of ours. We're a big supporter of his. He and is also the first guest instructor. If you're a member of the DJ's Vault, you'll see that the videos that came out.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep, there were several videos that came out on May 1st that we co-did together, and then a couple that he did for the Vault as the first guest instructor. So
he's also been a huge spokesman for one of our sponsors, Vibo, and Brian probably knows more about Vibo than I would say probably the guys who have written the code. I think
it could be true.
Brian's one of those. He's an early adopter, and he knows it well. He knows it.
He spoke about it.
So the main topic I wanted to talk about is let me come at it from this angle.
Yeah.
Joe, what would you estimate is the percentage of females in our industry? And this is just Joe guessing. I haven't asked Joe in advance to do research, so this is just a guess. What would you guesstimate is the percentage of females in the mobile DJ industry? I'm not talking about DJ, including radio and club and everything else, but just strictly mobile DJ. If you had to guess.
1%.
Take your time.
1%.
And you're basing that on?
Visuals. Yeah, going to shows. Going to shows.
And also social media. I mean, I've connected, and so have you, with, and I would say that you're probably right. I might double that and go to 2%.
Right.
But even still, it is a very small percentage, right? We would all agree with that.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay. So before I get to the main topic that triggered this, DJ Collective, and you were involved in that from day one, and there is a higher percentage of females at DJ Collective than that. It's, there's 30 people in that group, so 1% would mean either one or less, or not one. I don't know how you get less than one person. Was that a conscious decision on your guys' part to say, hey, let's make sure we have not only a female representative, but more than the percentage of our industry?
No, not at all. I don't think that ever came up in the original topic.
The original topic, you just what was that first year? 15 people?
Yeah, I think it was 15, and then it was just Dana though. I think it was the first year.
So year 1, Dana was the only female, but then year 2, you added Kristen and Maria.
Correct.
So I mean, year
and
2,
Dana
I
was
think
there again. So that was been 3 out of 30.
So,
right.
That's right. So that's 10%. So that's way more than our estimate. And again, that was not a conscious decision on your part. Okay. No. So having answered that way, if you were producing a show now, and that was not DJ Collective is not a show. It's a small group. We getting, and I say we now because I was invited in year 2. We get together, we share things, we bring in outside speakers, everything else. But if you were producing a show for the DJ industry, would part of your decision making be, I have to get a female or 2 up on the stage to represent? Or again, would you just, let's say you have 20 slots for speakers, similar to what you said you did with DJ Collective, would you say to yourself, hey, I'm looking for the 20 best speakers here. I don't care whether they're male, female, transgender, it doesn't matter to me. I'm looking for the 20 best speakers.
I think if I'm the show producer, I'm on that trend that you just said, that I'm looking for people to cover every element of mobile DJing, no matter
who the speaker is,
what the gender is. So, I want one person for marketing, I want one person for emceeing, one person about mixing, one person about music. I don't know that I'm specifically, and again, I'm not specifically saying they need to be male or female. I think I'm just trying to fill every slot at this conference with the best speaker available for my budget.
Fair enough. And I would probably agree with that as well.
Right.
However, a post that appeared on my timeline this morning from Courtney Hampton.
That's a friend of ours, by the way.
Yep. Courtney, graduate of the PHDJ workshop. And I just saw her again at Mobile Beat. Love her husband.
Good
beautiful
people.
Family.
Good people.
She wrote on the ARM DJ page, not one woman is giving a seminar, really, 3 question marks. Now,
when did this pop up? Do you have a date for that?
This popped up. She posted this last night at 11:20 p.m. So I just happened to see it this morning. Now, in my limited experience with females, when a female finishes a question with really and 3 question marks, you're in trouble. Like if Kelly says to me, if Kelly asks me any question and then goes, really? I go, I really screwed up.
Right.
So Courtney is making the point that she is clearly upset that there are no female speakers. What is your initial reaction to that? Does Courtney have a point? Before I even get into what Larry Williams replied, have you had a chance? I know I just hit you with this before we went on.
I just read that screenshot. I didn't know how far it went down the comment hole, but
yeah, I mean it's not one of those 500 comment threads.
Right.
Yeah.
I know this
Did ARM screw up?
No, I don't think they screwed up, but they're definitely not. Let me think of the right word. They're not all-encompassing all demographics. So in other words, let me compare it to marketing real quick. So as you know, and we've spoken about this on here, I'm sure I've spoken about it in the Vault stuff. You and I have talked about it at our workshop. When you put out a piece of marketing, whether it's a website or a this little booklet that you know about that we give our couples when they come in, you want to show everybody, African Americans, whites, same-sex couples, older couples.
I would agree with that. I talk about that at the workshop when I talk about making demo videos. I am very conscious when I make demo videos of trying to get as large of a demographic into my videos as possible. So I want to see older people dancing.
Yes.
I want to see different ethnicities dancing.
Yes.
A lot of times I have to look hard to find a guy dancing because it's almost all females. So I'm trying to get as many dudes in as possible. Right. Because you want everyone who's watching that video or marketing piece or looking through a brochure to feel included. I totally agree with that.
So I don't know that this is the same type principle, especially in a male-dominated industry, which we both just agreed on. And I think anybody that, if there was such a thing as a census, I can't even figure out how many mobile DJs are in the United States when I'm doing this. I'm trying to work with this company to redesign this DJ booth. We don't know if it's 25,000 people, Mike, or 50,000 or
Right before you dialed me, I was Googling what percentage of females are there in the mobile DJ industry, and Google could not tell me on page one. Now
Exactly.
I didn't have time to go through and
It ain't
go
there,
through,
man.
but I don't know. Right. And like you said, there's not even a census of how many mobile DJs there are, because I think the problem is define that term. Are we talking about somebody who owns gear and does 2 events a year?
Yep.
I mean, I've had a number of DJs leave me, because they're getting out of the business, but they don't sell their equipment.
That's right.
And they might do, a friend's party here and there. They might set their gear up in their bag. Does that person still count as a mobile DJ? I don't know either. So yeah, how do you define that? It's a very hard thing to ever.
But I think
so if
we
you can't
can
find a full number, then how? But I don't know. I mean, if anybody wants to disagree with our percentages and say it's a lot higher or significantly higher, you're welcome to. But you'd have to show me how you back that up. And again, this is no insult to females. Our industry is predominantly male.
And again, so when we say industry,
to make the point that you were about to make, if you're going to produce a show for mobile DJs, then maybe it does make sense to have all dudes up there, because it's going to be 98% or 99% dudes in the room. Or maybe it doesn't. I mean, one of the reasons I like going to Wedding MBA is that it's a different demographic. I'm not in a room with 300 sweaty guys. I'm in a room with that's predominantly female. And I don't say that to sound creepy or anything else, but it's just as a guy, I'd rather be in a room that's 80% women than 80% dudes. It's just, what I mean? And I know for myself, I'd rather see a female speaker at least once or twice to give me a different perspective.
Let me also interject here, Mike. Number one, so again, remember, Mike and I are talking about the mobile DJ industry. I mean, as we all know, I think the number would be considerably higher in the club world for female DJs. Number two is the thing about these shows that people need to understand is the DJ shows, that is that if you look at the roster at a DJ show, 95% of the speakers are DJs. So this is not a show like
So if you're pulling from the pool of DJs, you're pulling from a pool that's 90 whatever
they're
percent.
not professional speakers. Like I mean, if we pulled up Midwest DJs Live or Arm DJs right now and went through those rosters, you would clearly see that I could say that guy's a DJ, he was a DJ, he's a DJ, he was a retired DJ.
Well, hang on, I'm gonna correct you on one thing.
Okay.
You can be both. You can be a mobile DJ. I consider myself a professional speaker.
I don't.
I mean, it's not my career. Joe, have you made money speaking?
A very small amount, yes.
Exactly, but you have, and I don't. Again, I'm certainly not selling my DJ company to rest on my speaking money.
No.
But I consider myself a professional speaker. So I see your point. Most of the people up there. So again, if you're pulling from a pool, now let's get to Larry Williams' response to Courtney. He says, we, Robbie, Britton, and I, put out a call for speakers, and he puts that in quotes, for a full month for my front and center program. This added 8 additional speakers to the lineup. Sadly, we had no female entries. I was really hoping to receive some, but none answered the call. I can assure you this likely has more to do with lack of interest on the speaker end as opposed to lack of interest on the part of the conference promoter. So I love Larry.
Yeah, Larry's a good guy.
But here's the thing. I don't think most shows pick their speakers simply by who approaches them. I think most shows do a little bit of outreach first.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I know for specifically for Arms, Robbie had approached me about speaking. I didn't see this post that Larry put out. Yeah, I didn't see a call to action. I didn't respond to, hey, I'd like to speak at Arm. Robbie approached me. We worked out a deal. I'm going down there. So it's not simple. I don't think you can rely simply on we put the call out. We didn't get any females to respond. So therefore we have no females. I don't think it's that cut and dry. I do think, though, and a few people on this thread say to Courtney, hey, step up, speak. And I do think that is sometimes the easiest answer to say.
Yeah.
Like any female who says, hey, I don't see enough representative. Well, did you submit something? Is maybe it's your turn And I think Courtney could. I've had enough conversations with Courtney. She knows the business well. She has, any female who is in this industry and successful in this industry has a specific angle to talk about. Obviously, you and I have already discussed it. That's a unique position. So I think Courtney could probably put something together. So maybe the answer is simply if you're a female or anybody and you're upset that there's not enough female representation, then if you're a female, step up and put your hat in the ring.
I mean, listen, I think that any of the female DJs I know in the mobile DJ industry, mostly that I've met at these shows, would be prime candidates. You know what I mean? They've already overcome the DNA trait or anti-trait number one, which is fear of public speaking, because they're a professional DJ/MC. Clear. So, it's really about coming up with content. Again, I feel like my delivery is more conversational than rehearsed, but I still feel like I always deliver good content, and I feel like they would as well. Jess or Rachel, Courtney, Dana, Kristen. I mean,
Well, as somebody points out in this thread, do you know Stacy Carroll?
Yeah, I know Stacy.
She always attends. I mean, anytime I've ever been there.
In Tennessee.
Somebody said in Tennessee.
Correct.
I know Stacy Carroll is in Tennessee. She would be a great speaker on mixing and remixing. And I would agree with that girl can spin. I would agree with that. Is it up to ARM DJs to have approached her? Should she, maybe Stacy has no interest in speaking. We don't know that. You can't force somebody up on that. It's the last thing you want to do.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I mean, Mike is I got into speaking probably because Mike spoke. And
is that right? I never heard that.
Yeah, I did. I really did. And he was one of the few people.
I'm saying thank you, but do you mean that as in like if he can do it, anybody can do it?
No. I mean it as, when I would go to these conferences 10 plus years ago, I think I would leave uninspired less the Mike Walter seminar. And I was like, this guy is speaking more on what I'm trying to do or on the level I'm doing, even though some of the things we do are different. And so I kind of got into it. But I'll tell you this, even to this day, after speaking at multiple different seminars, if there's a call to action and I want to speak at it, I still have to submit. Mike is on the tier of, let's...
No. I submitted to Mobile Beat last year.
Okay, I thought you were just reached out to.
I had to wait a week or two before Ryan and Jake gave me the thumbs up.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I stand corrected then. I thought you were just on that upper tier
I submitted a proposal to DJ Times.
Okay.
Like I said, Robbie reached out to me, but he also wanted to know what I wanted to speak about. I don't think Robbie's going to give me 90 minutes to just get up there and do something. I think any speaker on any level, even if you're approached to speak, I think they still, the producer of the show has a responsibility to make sure that person's going to get up there and provide content.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's all they care about. I mean, I hate to say that, but at these exit surveys or the water cooler talk at the end of the conference, people want to know, especially somebody like a Midwest DJs Live that is composed of a volunteer board. Can you imagine all the time they spent in putting that show together, which again was really well done, and then have everybody go home or get on social media or be sitting around talking about, well, damn, I can't believe I came all the way to the Potawatomi Hotel in Wisconsin and wasted my money because, again, you and I know it's expensive to be there. It's hard to leave your family and your business and whatever else. So, I don't think that any show producer is intentionally shunning or not booking females. I think, if I could summarize, I would say that they are pulling normally from, especially at a DJ conference, a pool of DJ/speakers like myself, like you, and that is, again, 99% male. And then the other small percentage, is usually filling a slot that needs to be filled. In the case of Midwest DJs Live last week, Vicky, who's on the board, spoke, so that was one. And then Caroline was the opening keynote, who spoke about generations, kind of like you have, Mike, the millennials and things like that. And she is and was a professional speaker. So,
But I will. So I'll go a little bit further than you.
Okay.
I think it does fall to the producers of the show to try to be a little bit more all-inclusive. And if you're going to, and I don't think you can rely simply on we threw the net out and these are the 20 people who responded. I think clearly, and I'm an example, they do reach out to some people.
True.
So why not reach out? And listen, if they reached out to 5 women and those 5 females turned them down, then they would have a little bit more of a, hey, listen, we tried. But I think just saying, you know how many females submitted proposals? 0 is, I don't think that's enough. I don't think Robbie and Larry did anything wrong here, but I think it, just like the whole world with this Me Too movement is learning things, and we're learning, we're readjusting. Exactly. I think it's a good lesson that when you sit down and say, let's look at our speaker panel. Is everyone represented? Ethnicities, genders, I think age groups. I think it's, that's one of the reasons why I think it's great that Nick Spinelli is stepping up. There was, for a while, it was like every speaker was, in his 40s, 50s, or 60s. Like, we needed some young voice, some young voices at these shows. And I think it behooves these producers to be a little bit more all-inclusive when they put these rosters together. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. I will.
And hopefully Courtney, and hopefully you and I talking about it, and Courtney's post and different things. And that's all it is. It's not a matter of scolding anybody and doing anything wrong. This isn't a Harvey Weinstein type situation.
Right.
But I think we can all, and it doesn't mean, listen, I've learned things in the last couple of years about the proper way to treat people and the proper way to speak and things like that. And I think you do that. I think, the R word is a good example. I used to say retarded every once in a while. And a number of years ago it was pointed out to me that can be an offensive term. And I've eliminated it from my library, from my vocabulary. So I think we're all in that stage now. And I think social media is helping us get there where we're learning. Yeah.
I mean, listen, I will say this. If this, we're not even pointing out Courtney. This just happened to be topical, and like Mike said, we had to pivot on a topic. This popped up, right before midnight last night. So this isn't even focused at all at Courtney, because quite frankly, I've seen this topic pop up on Facebook before.
See, I don't think I have. I think okay. Then I've missed it.
I definitely saw some chatter about it during Mobile Beat, because I feel like, what's her name? Anyway, that works for Animoto. Oh my God!
Well, Mobile Beat had a number of females on the stage.
I thought it was only a couple or one.
Well, they had Eppolito, who spoke at
that's true.
DJ Collective.
Yep. And then what's her name? That works for Animoto. Oh man, one of Jan and I's friends. She's a photographer up there.
Oh,
Joy.
Yeah.
Joy. Is her last name?
Vanessa Joy.
Vanessa Joy. God, I'm spacing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I still don't. I think it came up there as if that wasn't, again, enough. So, again, not picking on Courtney at all, a friend of ours, and valid point.
No, I don't think I'm not picking on Courtney at all. I'm tipping my cap to her for at least getting a conversation started, and that's what it inspired me to do this morning, to talk about it. And I think that's where you can agree or disagree with it, but let's never say we shouldn't have this conversation.
No,
I mean, if Robbie and Larry want to rest on their, hey, we tried, we didn't, then I think that's fine too. But I don't think anyone should say, let's not talk about this. This isn't, let's talk about it. There's nothing offensive here. I don't think we're offending anyone by talking about the percentage of females in our industry and what producers could or can't do or shouldn't do or don't need to do.
Right.
We're just having a discussion about it.
So here it is. Call to arms, call to action. I know pretty much, I believe either this month or next, that Mobile Beat will be sending out an email / putting up a link to submit to speak there. So, females, let's go. Let's stand up.
And by the way, I will say this for males, females, for anybody.
Whoever, right.
If you'd like some help from me as far as putting a proposal together, I'd be happy to spend a few minutes on the phone with you.
Damn.
I think I've gotten quite good at putting, putting that email together that's going to help you get in the door, especially if you've never spoken before. So
600 people just heard that. Or however many.
Great. I'm really great with that, Joe. I put up a post on Facebook recently. Somebody said my dream is to speak at one of these shows, and I basically wrote, I said, a dream is great, but a path to get there is much more important. And I wrote out 5 steps to get your foot in the door on what you need to do. And one of them, especially if you've never spoken before, is get some video footage of you speaking. Even if it's you speaking just in your office to a camera, get 5 minutes. This producer, it's great to put a proposal together and say, this is what I want to talk about, but are you actually going to be able to deliver? And so producers need to see that too. But I'd be happy to help.
Topic, by the way, we definitely we're going to save
and
this.
We're at the 30-minute mark, so we're going to wrap up.
We're going to table this.
This is a good one, Joe. I think we handled this properly and respectfully, and we did okay. I can see you cringing the entire time.
Well, thank you guys for listening. Mike, anything else before we wrap this one?
No, that's it. That's it.
Cool, man. Later.